it took me a little while to get over last night. It wasn't frustrating, or it wasn't a night I got angry at. I think the only mistake of the night was maybe the first quarter with Irresistible Sun, but as it turned out, he scoped a little bit sick and wasn't on the top of his game. It wouldn't have mattered. I might have been able to salvage a check had I stayed in or dropped him in. And that bothered me at the time when I saw, when I had to let Aaron go and then saw Dan Noble move. I knew I'd made an error. But at the same token, the horse raced as good as he could, ended up with a 6th, and it was tough to get over. It was, but that's racing. And when I looked at the race card top to bottom, we knew we were in tough, right? Our best shots were Irresistible Sun and Absolute Euphoria. No two ways about it. A 4th and a 6th. It is a little disappointing, but it is racing. I talked about all this in a video that I made also on Sunday, talking about Saturday night's racing. Pretty in-depth, so if you're interested at all, go and watch that video. This video is the opening of the week, the weekend reviews. We did have a great week last week. We've had a great summer. We've had a great year, and I'm sure it will continue as we get into the fall. We've made some great purchases. We've made some bad ones. That will happen. But we've been fortunate, for the most part, top to bottom, with everybody. The business side, we talk about how this should be fun. We talk about how, own a little, love it a lot. We talk about, getting involved with discretionary funds and trying to have fun, but that doesn't mean there's no business side to this industry. You've seen this. We try to move the horses out when they get in where it's going to be really tough for us. Try to bring horses in that are going to have an immediate impact. I say that a lot when I buy horses. I think this horse will have an immediate impact. And sometimes the sale of any particular horse might have an immediate impact on us also. So you have acquisitions and sales and all these horses moving around and trying to find them in the right place. It's taxing, but the love of the horse should never be lost. I had a pretty tough phone call this morning from somebody saying they had found a horse that was sold in a pretty rough-looking sale. And a lot of these horses work their way down and they end up in a position where we don't want them. A horse that did us a lot of good for 2 years. And I was heartbroken to hear about where he was and how he got there. And without hesitation, I bought the horse. I bought him back. And he's on his way to Northfield, and his name is Brave World. So Brave World we had for two years. He did us nothing but good. We sold him. He was racing, last I saw him, Batavia, Buffalo area. And then he kind of disappeared. Well, we raced so much. From time to time, I'd refresh his name and not see him Indigo. Maybe he got injured. Maybe he got hurt. And then when I got this text message this morning, it was a text, it wasn't a phone call. Lady said, we're trying to get him back and get him. I said, how much to buy the horse and how much to have him shipped to Northfield right now? The lady told me, and I'm going to buy him. It's going to be mine. So I'll buy Brave World back, bring him to Northfield. I'm sure he's going to need a ton of TLC to get him back into any sort of shape. Is he hurt? Not from what I was told. But as much as I said, as much as this industry is about business in one form or another, we're all trying to do well. We're all trying to have some fun. But those are the horses we're racing. And regardless of what the name is or who the horse is, we do owe them a debt. And I want to make sure that I pay that if I can. And Brave World has been rescued, and he'll be brought back. Geez, it wasn't that long ago he was racing. He'll be brought back to Northfield Park. We'll patch the big guy up. And if we race him, we race him. And if he never races again, then I'll find a good home for him. But I felt that was, at the very least, my obligation. So Brave World has rejoined the stable and will be making his way back to Northfield. I'm sure we'll patch him up and then send him on to Pennsylvania to be turned out or somewhere. We'll get him turned out and get him fattened up and see how the big guy is when he comes back. So that was a little bit of a tough text to read, but an easy decision to make, and I felt good about it as I left the hotel this morning and went to get ice cream with Addie, take the heads over to Legoland, I felt pretty good about myself. So really happy to chip in. So that is definitely a feel-good story today for me, for us, for everybody here at the stable. Brave World has joined the stable again. Now, on to the horses racing right now. Man, we had an awesome week from, I guess I'll start this, after talking about what had just went on with Brave World. I want to talk about some of the good things that happened this week. Arson and Tactical Mounds looked incredible racing, and we had a lot of good races. Now, I guess I'll start with those two, and then I'll circle back to those two, because we have some exciting news for both of them also. So I'm going to start with the other horses. Spitfire Overseas was such a great story this week. I was a little frustrated that he didn't get in. In my mind, kind of quietly, I had Spitfire Overseas racing again last Friday, doing well, and then going to the Canadian Trotting Classic. He needed that tightener for us to reassess his fitness level and his ability to race against the top 3-year-olds. It's hard to believe that he would come back, race in the final. He followed along and raced very admirably in the final. But it wasn't a factor. It wasn't like, oh my God, we got to get this guy to a major stake race right away. No, he looked like he was coming back, for sure. But then the class didn't go. And then the proximity to the Canadian Trotting Classic just didn't work out. If he couldn't race Friday or Saturday, then he couldn't come back a week later in Canada. So that's out the window. No Canadian Trotting Classic. But we can race him the next couple of weeks, race him in the Keystone Classic, assess how he is. We do still have the big dance at the end of the year, the Breeders' Crown. And make no mistake, if you take Spitfire Overseas from the day he went at 53, come 27 for Scott Zeron, extrapolate his career, how it could have looked the next 5-6 starts, it's not hard to believe that he wouldn't be a 151, 152 trotter right now. But it didn't go that way, did it? He trotted good, and then he got worse. Then we'd find out that he was an AFib. We fixed him, kind of haphazardly got him back to the races in the safest way we could, but most definitely in an accelerated fashion. And then he went out and raced great in the final. Probably will race great next week. He continues to race great from here. We will talk more about him racing against the best horses at the end of the year. I think that is more than fair. Coupe de Ville proved this week that she's no joke. She's a good filly. That was a tough mile last night. She raced great. And coming off of sales of Austral, it was bittersweet. I love driving Austral. One of my favorite horses to drive, maybe of all time, to be fair. To sell him and then see him go and win, yeah, it was tough. Good for the new owners, and I'm glad that he's going to a great home in Paul Kelly. But yeah, I would have liked to win that myself. But you don't always get to do that. We retained Coupe de Ville, and it looked like lightning might have struck twice, and this time for us. But instead, a nose cost us a victory and a win photo. I thought I won the race. And then to find out you lose, it's one thing to lose. That's a little frustrating. To think you won and then find out that you lost. Not only did you lose, but you finished third? Oh. That was heartbreaking. That was a tough one. But she raced great. Pickpocket raced great last week, finishing second. He's secured his place in the final. Arson has secured his place in the final with a dominating win, 26 flat on the end of it, the fastest mile by a 2-year-old that day. That is important, and we'll circle back to that in just a minute. Why? Born to Dance, look good. Look very good. He's going to finish off his 2023 in good fashion. We'll put him away well. He's not done yet. He's done soon, but we got some horses to race. Jug Week. We're going to have some fun in Jug Week. Make your way to Delaware. Wallop looked good. He's got the Massachusetts Sire Stakes. I just talked to Mark Beckwith. He said, geez, if you could get him out here by the 15th of September, which would be right after his race in this week at Northfield, that would work out well. Perfect. That's exactly what we'll do. Blanton's Blue, we're going to put him away now. I know he didn't make the money we wanted. He didn't win the races we wanted. He didn't do everything we wanted or anything we wanted him to do. But he didn't win the other day. He looked good doing it. So we're going to put him away on a fresh note. Sharpen him up, bring him back in 2024, and who knows? Got all the tools, breeding included. Probably first and foremost breeding, to be a good horse. So hopefully he comes back good next year for us. Stay Close looked oh so good in the Meadows. I was so proud of this horse and how he raced and how he's looked and how he's become. I keep telling you guys, they will get in a funk. All of them. Good horses bounce back. And this horse bounced back in a big way. He's likely going to be headed to the Open, but I'll tell you, he's not going to look at a place anywhere. One of the fastest miles by a trotter in Pennsylvania this year was him. Now, obviously, the good horse set the track record with Hunter. Not too many horses went in 52 this year at the Meadows, and he did. Galaxies might have got beat the other day, but we all know why. As I said jokingly in the video, it'd be Jimmy the Greek to look at the line and figure out what happened. 25-4 the first quarter happened. Much like 26-4 last night with Swinging Senorita. But this is horse racing, and horse races will from time to time break out. But we'll race Galaxy covered up. You can't go to the front every week with her. As I said to Tim the other day, put a snake cord on her. If we have to, we'll put an open bridle on her. Race her from the mid-pack or closer, but not the front end if we can help it next week. Such a nice horse. She's been such a great quality purchase for us. 5-fish species look great. Now drew the 7-hole in the final on a half-mile track. That is a tough one. That's not even quite the 10-hole at the Meadowlands. The 7-hole at Batavia is no man's land. I don't know what kind of trip Scott Zeron's going to work out for her, but if he's got any magic left in his hands and his suit and his body and his life, it'd be a good time to use it. You're going to need some help with fish at the 7-hole. Mel Gibswan quietly has amassed $80,000 this year. And we don't often talk about money. From time to time we do. Very mediocre purchase. Been a very good horse. Has won a race in 58, but has been knocking on the door every single night he raced. And he raced good again the other day. I suspect he'll bounce back good. Again, horn player. Winning 56-2. We've had some breeders start to call, and we will. We have some very, very well-bred fillies. Remember, very well-bred fillies. We're going to have some breeders calling us looking for the horn players and the cutie cumbers, the Coupe de Villes, as the year boils on. Coupe de Ville herself won over $80,000 last night lifetime. Mark of 56.5. Trotted in 54 on a 5/8 mile track. Very nice filly. Sunset Acres girl. Yes, that was a tough one to take too, right? Thought she was just a layover, and you're never a layover in this industry, ever. There's no layups, there's no cakewalks, there's no easy money, there never was, there never will be. She raced good. Finished third, has had a great season so far. Really happy with her. Somebody said, I think she's got 2 left, but why don't we put her away? That's a hard no. She's going to race the schedule, and then we'll put her away. We're not going to prep her for the Hambletonian Oaks next year. She's got Michigan, and more Michigan. So if she's 2 races left, unless there's some unforeseen reason that I'm not aware of, she's going to finish them out, same as everybody else in Michigan. Tactical Mounds went one of the best miles, maybe in the stable history. That was one of the most impressive races I've seen in a while. In fact, I'm going to talk about her and Arson at the end of this, so stay tuned because there is a couple of big updates. JK Victory just got beat again. Has been absolutely fantastic in Indiana. I want to talk about a horse being homesick. Man, oh man, he certainly didn't look like the horse advertised when we got him to Ontario. Just whether it was the surface or the track or the racing or with the corks or what it was, he couldn't function. Certainly could function when we got him back to Indiana. He looked awesome all year long. Another horse looked great was our mare, Cupid Express. Where's she go from here? A few little questions also. Is there a class in Ontario for her? Not unless she can trot in 54. Now you might say, well, she trotted in 55 at the Meadows, different company. That horse that beat her the other day, there's 7 or 8 of them waiting for her in Ontario. Is there a class for her there? I don't know. We'll see. Because she's running out of classes. The only class she fits is the same class that horn players in. I guess we could put a tag on her. It just feels to me if we tag her, and somewhere north of 30,000 would be the tag. It would be good financially. It would make all the sense in the world, but are we undervaluing her? I don't know. Maybe not. So I guess we'll see how that plays out this week. I'm going to have a very stern look at, a very close look at Ontario's classes, how they're going, what horses are in there, same as the Meadows, same as Northfield. We'll find the right place for Cupid Express coming up this week. JK Mickey Mantle, I thought raced great yesterday. I thought the horse looked very, very, very good. Coming back to himself, looking comfortable. Brady drove him perfect. Just 3 quality drives from Brady Brown yesterday at the Meadows. Great job by him. Patrick DeParana was another one. Him, the Philly Cupid, and JK Mickey Mantle drove them all perfect. Patrick was a winner. JK Mickey Mantle was second. So was Cupid Express. A great day for us at the Meadows yesterday. And then although we had a rather pedestrian-looking middle of the day with the stakes in Ohio and everything else going on, no free lunch, beat a half length, 150 flat, 26 flat at the end of it. Looks like he's coming back to life. I had a great conversation after Sirius Dragon raced, who raced very good in finishing third with Harry, and had won this morning with James, and said, listen, I think we just got to be a little more aggressive on how we move our horses in Ontario around. They have to be on their toes at the top of their game to race in Ontario. We need to breathe fresh air into Ontario this fall. We'll get some more new horses, Sirius Dragon types, that are going to fit classes in Ontario. We're going to move forward in that manner. And if they get a little stale, a little stagnant, or to where they can't do Meadows, Northfield, Saratoga, I know Plainridge is closing. There'd still be Indiana, Dayton, and even Dover. We can't continue to wait in Ontario and put the horses, the trainers, and the drivers in a tough spot. We need to be more aggressive with our Ontario fleet, and we will be. Now, I talked to you a couple minutes ago about updating you on Arson and Mounts for All. I had a wonderful conversation with Todd McCarthy and Scott Zeron today regarding both those horses. Now, those conversations were put in motion by clients of ours that had asked very poignant questions, the right questions, and clients that owned the horses that asked some questions, made some observations. Anthony, Tactical Mounds. I know supplementing to the Breeders' Crown is costly and it makes no sense financially, but what about the Elegant Image? I talked to Scott. He said, my only concern is if they don't go right to a final, that's 5 and then 6 weeks in a row she's racing. And I said to Scott, I said, you're right, but I think I'm trying to look at it from all sides, and unless I'm wrong, that's really the only thing that would deter us from racing her there. Correct? He said, yeah, I think you're right. So if they go right to the final, you'd skip a week, you'd get that week rest, and you'd be back at it. Yes. Worst case scenario, you get a race elimination and back in the final. Yes. Okay. I like to make all my decisions at the stable in one easy way. If I, or if you owned Tactical Mounts, would you be racing next week in the Elegant Image? I can tell you my answer. And he said yes. So did I. So Tactical Mounts is going to be supplemented to the Elegant Image next week and in Ontario. Megan's going to take her up there. There's no point in disconnecting that relationship for a week. I don't know what we're going to do with Indiana yet, but I just don't think there's much reason for her not to bring the horse. The filly has to come here. I don't want her coming here, getting rushed here on Tuesday. Just bring her in Thursday. Wednesday night or Thursday, bring her in, race her there, then we'll see how things shake out. And if they go right to the final, there's no rush coming here at all. I'd even prep her in New York, then bring her in here next Wednesday or Thursday. I don't think she needs to be here. You're bringing a new horse into a jurisdiction. You're just looking for them to get sick potentially, and I just don't think it makes the most sense. Ship them in a day or two before, no more, and race her here, and then extricate her from Ontario immediately. Also, October's her next race on the books for Indiana. She's got like the Crossroads and Pegasus and those types of things. I think she has 2 or 3 races there, and then I think the Breeders' Crown is a no-no. Certainly not supplementing that. The only reason you supplement, you have to be first or second for it to be worth your while. Third barely gets you your money back. So that's a no. And then we go to Arson. Now, Eric had sent me the sheets for all of the finals. Who's eligible, where the point earners are. And he also, I don't know if he did it on purpose. Maybe he did. He sent me the list for the $400,000 final. There's only 6 horses on the list. 5 or 6. Now, those are the only 6 obligated to race in there. Will other horses join that list? I doubt it. If you're one of the best in the 30, you stay in the 30. The best horse in the bottom class is us, for the most part. Finish 5th, you get 20. You win the final at the C, you get 25. race, there's only been one division. That race went 51-3, come 27 flat the other day. An hour and a half after Arson went in 50-4, come 26 flat. So I called Todd. We talked for 10 minutes, and you always hate. The driver doesn't want to race the horse over their head. They want to win. So do I. I don't want to race them over their head. I've told you, no, he's not going up a class. No, he's staying where he is. I like him right there. Let's set him up for a 3-year-old. Let's not get greedy and put him in a bad spot. I'll stand by everything I just said. But after that win the other day, I don't know that racing him in that A division isn't a problem. If they turn it into a short field race and look to sprint, fine, you're not getting away from him. His race the other day put him in a position where it looks like he can do. I know Todd thinks he can, which I was a little surprised. I thought he'd lobby to stay in the seat, which I was okay with. I was really indifferent. When I made the phone call, I was really indifferent to where we'd go, where he'd fit, what that would look like. And I was surprised. As I'm on the phone, Todd pulls up the race from the other day. He said, Anthony, I draw good on the right day with the right circumstance. Yeah, I can win that race with Arson. There you have it. I think Arson is going to be pushed up into the A division for the final. I think he deserves it the way he did the other day. So I guess I'm not going to walk back my statement. I still don't think we should race him over his head, but coming off a win in 50-4, coming 26 flat, to race against horses that paced in 51-3, come 27, an hour and a half after you, in a short field, yeah, I think that makes sense. So I think that's probably what we're going to do. So the three biggest takeaways from today, for me, driving down back to Northfield, is Brave World has joined the stable. Arson, Mounts for All. Horse of the past coming back. The horses of the future are going to get a real shot next week in Kentucky. Mounts for All. Pickpocket's going to race in the final of the $30,000 one. I think they go for $100. And Arson's going to race for $400. Tactical Mounds, all things go well, we'll be racing for $600 Canadian in Ontario. And I think all three of those, including the purchase of Brave World, make all the sense in the world in the stable. So, with that said, the racing portion's over. I want to talk about the sale. We have tons of the Delaware coming up, Little Brown Jug Week's coming up. First and foremost, little problem next Friday. One that's going to frustrate me a little bit. Insider trading is to race in the Keystone Classic next Friday. That's the Ohio Sale Day. So I was just talking to my brother Mark. I forgot to ask him. So I'm going to ask him later tonight if he would go to the Meadows, because we have other horses in also that should do well on Friday. But would you go drive insider trading for me? Because truthfully speaking, I can't, although I love insider trading, and I think she's still got racing ahead of her, and I think she's sitting on a good mile, and I think she's a very, very good filly. I cannot jeopardize the future of 2024 in Ohio for the Keystone Classic. I just can't do that. That sale is one of the most important sales of the year for us as I drive through the state of Ohio. I have to be there. I have to look at the horses. I have to bid on the horses. This is our sale. And job number one for next Friday is absolutely 100% being at the Ohio Select Sale. Now, as I talk about the Ohio Select Sale, I guess I'll finish that statement by saying, good filly. She's trotting well. She's doing her work well. Her break last start, pitch it. That's not her fault. She was sore. She's not sore now. She trained good the other day. A lot of mucus in there. Tim will have her all cleaned up and ready to go. I think Mark's a great fit for her, and I really hope he can go and drive her. But as we've proven over the last couple of weeks, most of the guys we use are pretty good. Chris Lamps did an incredible job 2 weeks ago. Brady Brown did an incredible job the other day. We have guys we can turn to. We got a pretty strong bullpen also. So insider trading, although I was trying last night so hard to figure out how I could drive her, I just can't. I can't be there on Friday. I have to be at the Ohio Sale, and that is exactly where I'm going to be. Now, the Ohio sale, I appreciate everybody. Obviously, I wish that Gypsy and all of them had to run off the screen and win everything last night. Everybody be buying up all the lots and everybody would be excited heading into the sale. And although the night didn't go the way we wanted, the excitement shouldn't dissipate. Purple People Eater, Sedona are going to be fine 3-year-olds. Gypsy Hill, they're going to finish off their 2-year-old season well. They're going to be good 3-year-olds. To ask those fillies in that particular colt to do any more than they did last night would have been impossible. They did everything they could, so how can I be anything but proud of what they did? They were in a tough spot, and they did the best they could. End of story. No complaints. Irresistible Sun, a little sick. The only downfall last night. And Swinging Senorita, boo-hoo. She made $300,000, took a mark at 54, is worth a lot of money. Got beat fair and square last night, and I would not. You had driven her 100 times. It wouldn't have mattered whether it was me, Tyler, Tim Tetrick. You can put whoever you want on Swinging Senorita. That is how the race was going to go last night. So, as I said, as we head into the sale, I'm excited. I'm happy. I do hope that everybody out there understands we're very, very close to selling out all the buckets. I think we're down into the 20%, maybe in that premium horse, the top horse type thing. And it would be nice to get that premium horse. You guys know what happened this year, and it was very unfortunate. I would love to have somebody race in the final where I went on the track and I was one of the favorites and belonged one of the favorites. We've been there, right? We've been there before. Globetrotting, Slim Jimmy, all these horses that were nice horses for us. Yes. West 52nd. So I'm forgetting that year. Yes, West 52nd. Yeah. Anyway, I hope the buckets sell out. I hope you guys want to be a part of Ohio. It would make my job a lot easier if they all read 0 as we head into the sale. So I appreciate it. If you want to get involved, if you feel like getting involved, thank you very much. For the people that have already bought the buckets, I truly appreciate it. You are and have made my job much easier as we head into next Friday's sale. I am going to be at the sale grounds next Thursday morning looking at all the horses. I am going to bring you videos from the sale. Might even have a big update this week about the sale. But for right now, I appreciate everything you've done and everything you continue to do. The confidence you show in the stable. It's been a great year here. A great year. We're going to keep it going. And it all starts again for 2024 on September 15th, 2023, which is next Friday. The Ohio Select Sale is our first big sale of the year. And as I said, thank you very much for all you do. Have a wonderful day. I hope you've had a wonderful week and a wonderful weekend. I will talk to you all very soon. Take care.